Hi everyone, welcome to a slightly different video today. I want to talk about game design. Right, games mean a lot to me. They're kind of my happy place, and they have been for a long time. But anyway, I wanted to talk about design of games. It's something I want to learn about, something I'm keen to learn about together. So watch this space. But the first thing I want to talk about is colour in games, because I was actually playing a board game the other day with a friend, and he's colourblind. And obviously to me, we were playing like Carcassonne, I think, where the little meeples are different colours, and the colours mean they're yours, right? And I was like, oh, that's, so cute, love it. He couldn't tell the difference between them. And I suddenly realised that colour blindness and games could actually be quite disorientating. And so this kind of led me down a bit of a avenue, I guess, of discovery, learning about how important colour is in like provoking emotions in games, understanding risk, understanding objectives, all that like good stuff. I read a research paper about how colour impacts the emotions we feel when we're playing video games, and these emotions are the main reason that most people pick up a console or a PC or their phone. The colour red evoked a highly aroused negative emotional response. Red is bad. Red is you being marked down on your homework. Red is danger. Red is risk. We are inherently evolved to see red as danger, right? That's why certain berries are red, because during evolution we evolved to realise that we didn't eat that because it was poisonous and it was red, therefore red bad. The reaction to the colour yellow was really different, so it evoked quite a positive emotional response to it during playing games. And don't you think that's interesting? Because we can specifically use colour within game design to evoke experience, emotional experience for the user. But if we do that and the user doesn't see colour the same way the person who's designed it or QA'd it, are we still invoking the right emotional experience for that game? Or has the emotional experience actually changed without us realising it? And I just thought, like, what if you are colourblind and you're trying to play some of my favourite games? Like, what's that like? Is it still the same? Is it still as enjoyable? Or does that actually, like, impact the enjoyability of a game? First of all, let's talk stats, right? There's different types of colour blindness. I didn't realise this. It's to do with the cones in your eyes. But in your eyes, you have 3 receptors, right? You have red, green, and blue. If those cones don't function properly, then you see colour differently. So first thing, right? How do you know that... I think my hair's turquoise at the moment. Does it look turquoise to you? Are we seeing the same turquoise, or are we seeing different turquoises? Does my hair look a different colour to you? My mind is blown. I find it so fascinating. Led me to research like different types and how common they are. So trichromacy is any kind of colour blindness. We're talking about when the cells in your cones aren't functioning correctly. Depending on where you look, depending on the literature you read, it impacts between 1 and 12% of people. Interestingly, colour blindness pretty exclusively impacts male people. So there's 3 types of colour blindness, and some of them are extremely rare, some of them are much more common. When I say much more common, we're not talking like half of the people who could be impacted by this are impacted by this. We're talking 5%, right? It's not massive. And the most common one is reduction in sensitivity to green light, deuteranopia, which looks like this, right? So the picture on the left is someone who has typical cones, right? The receptors, the cells in all the cones in their eyes are working typically, and they see a variation of colour made up by the combination of red, green and blue. Not only does it change the way you see green, it changes the way you see other colours, because, as I said, colour is made up of RGB in images, especially when you're talking about like production images, digital images that we're producing, such as games. The next type is protanopia. This is a reduction in your sensitivity to red light in your eyes. If you're designed for deuteranopia, you're going to have a fairly good chance of it making sense for someone who has protanopia, right? That's great. Solve 2 birds, 1 stone. Tritanopia. And this is the reduction in sensitivity to blue light in your eyes. And you can see it's a radically different experience, right? So how do you make sure that someone who experiences that can relate, can feel the right connection to a game or a film or a story or an image or a piece of art? So why talk about it? Like, why make this video? Well, I was literally watching my husband play Red Dead the other day, and I thought, oh, well, if you're playing Red Dead, all of the objective markers are in yellow. The path you have to follow sometimes is in red or in yellow. So if we look at that, and then we look at how red and yellow changes for people with colour blindness, what is it still obvious enough? Are the way markers still obvious enough, or do you end up looking at the map in Red Dead and see like just a load of mush, and it's difficult to pick out? Another example is if you look at Zelda. If you think about when you target something and you lock, right? So lock helps. That is a game aid to help you hit the person you're trying to hit, right? Great, wonderful. What if you can't tell the difference between when you are looking at something and when you've actually locked on and you're targeting it? And then think about puzzle games. Think about the games that we play where you're solving puzzles to meet your objective. Think about the games like Hidden Through Time or Meridian that we've played, where colour might be really important to a puzzle. It might be really important to an instruction, such as, only pick up the red letters. Some games have built-in support for colour blindness. Hallelujah! I think it's so important. But not all do, and quite often, we're seeing the boom of indie games, which is fantastic. But it does mean that accessibility and that is maybe not the forefront when you've got AAA games that have maybe a whole accessibility team, a whole team designing what their accessibility looks like. When we're designing and creating these wonderful emotional experiences, that they hit the right notes for as many people as possible. How much knowledge is assumed when you're playing the games you love? Think about it. Could someone who'd never played a game like that before pick it up and enjoy it as much as you do? Or do you have to struggle through those hours as a new gamer? I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's something a bit different to my usual content, but leave a comment down below if you have any thoughts or if you have any experiences of stuff like this. I hope you're having a lovely day. Remember, you are loved, and I will see you next time. Bye. You know, no idea how many times I said that word before this. Like, before recording, I was like, trichromacy, trichromacy, trichromacy.